Yeah, hi all. I know it takes a minute to connect live, so maybe I'll wait for that. And once you can hear me, please let me know if I'm loud and clear and there are no distractions around. So let's wait for a minute or two, okay, and then I will start the Q&A session. Hey, hi, Adelia. Good to see you. Hi, Pinky. Hey, CB. Good to see you as well. Dinkar, welcome. So can someone please confirm whether I'm audible and the sound is loud and clear? Yes. Thanks, Mantesh, for confirming on that. And in between, if in case my sounds goes off or any distractions happens, please message and let me know. Right? I cannot hear you, so yeah, you have to drop a message. Okay, I can see the numbers are increasing, and so many people have joined now. So I'll stop taking names. Thanks a lot, all. Somebody have missed my class yesterday, it seems. So yeah, no worries. So as promised, this time I'm able to come online with alternate Friday. I hope I'll try to maintain this. So let's wait for a minute. I think it's let's wait for 30 more seconds. Fine. So then we'll start. I don't want to waste much time of yours, and so just give me a few seconds. And in between, if you have something, please you can put in the chat, and I'll try to answer within the section I'm going to complete. So not right away, but yeah, before I wind up, I might try to answer your questions. So if in case you have any doubts or questions, yeah, you can drop in this chat as well. Fine. I think we are okay. 3 minutes plus started the session, so I don't want to wait or waste much time of yours. And I can see many people have joined. Hey, Mohammed, you're my regular attendee. Thanks, and I like the way you call me Cheta. Thanks for that. Come on, buddy. Let's write and clear the exam sooner. Okay, and I hope today I have brought better questions for all of you. Fine. So let's start. Okay. So yes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, and thanks a lot for joining these question answer sessions conducted by EduHubSpot. So I am Nideesh-Balakrishnan, and I'm leading or heading the PMI courses at EduHubSpot. Fine. And why we conduct these sessions? Because, as I always say, okay, to clear PMP exam, okay, is not that easy. Fine. And number one, you need to have a very crisp and clear understanding of all the concepts, which is very vast PMP, right? And once you have that understanding, okay, how to answer them is a second thing, and also how to answer the questions within time limit, right? So your exam is for 230 minutes with 180 questions, fine, and it's not easy. If you do the math, you have only 1 minutes and 16 to 15 seconds to answer each question. And PMP questions are all scenario based, right? So most of them are scenario based, and which takes time for you to answer. Fine. So while preparing for PMP, okay, one, to get a very crisp and clear understanding is very important. And second, more and more and more practice. And not just practice, you need quality questions to practice. Fine. So our students definitely get quality questions. On top of that, okay, this is a live YouTube session, and this is available even after the live is over. So it's recorded and it is kept in YouTube. So anyone, any point in time can watch it, okay, and gain the knowledge what is shared here. So can I see some messages that how many people are new or first time you're joining these question answer sessions? Can I see some messages on that? Okay, somebody have said you have sent an email to change the name. Okay, I'll check on that, Noor, for sure. Okay, other questions, I'll take it. Look, the people who have joined for the first time, so let me explain the agenda of this session. So number one, yes, people need much more practice of your quality questions on scenario based questions from PMP topics, right? So that's why we conduct this. Now how we conduct, okay, so I'm going to show a question on the screen. So I have total 5 questions, okay, so I have total 5 questions with me, and I'm going to present them one by one. So first I will show number one question on the screen, and then I'll start a timer of 1 minute. Okay, so I want you to read and answer within 1 minute in the chat. So please put your answers in the chat and don't get influenced by other, okay, who are putting the answers. So don't get influenced. You read your question, answer it as per your understanding. Fine. And then I will read the question and then reveal the correct answer. And not only that, I will give some more insight, a conceptual understanding behind the answer, so that after the session not only you get some practice of PMP questions, and also you're taking home some, okay, extra knowledge or extra information about the concept. So I will try to, okay, give maximum knowledge in the session, and let's see how it goes. And also I wanted to very, make it very clear, okay, the people who attend our classes, they know, okay, how we take. Here I have time, limited time. Fine. So because I have limited time, I won't be explaining concepts in much detail. It will be in a capsule format. Okay, so please understand that. Don't think, okay, EduHubSpot teaches the concept in such what is a high level, but I will try to give some insight for sure on a capsuled format. Fine. So what I'm explaining here for 2 to 3 minutes, in the class we might be taking that topic for even 20 to 30 minutes, right? Depending on the nature and need of the explanation. Anyways, so not wasting any more minute of yours, okay, let's start the Q&A session for today. So let me post the question number one on the screen, and I will zip my lips. Okay, a couple of people have given us feedback that this guy talks a lot while he is presenting question. So I'll zip myself, okay, and then once I'm going to reveal the answer, then I will talk. Fine. So let me share the screen and put across the first question to you all. So yes, so that is question number one. I'm starting the timer and zipping my mouth. Congrats, Dinakar. You're the first one to answer. Good to see that. Now the time goes out, 0. So I'll give you 10 more seconds as a grace time all. So please answer within 10 seconds. So can I see more answers coming in? Here we go. I have got all three different answers. The first people who have answered exactly D, C, D, A, D. Okay. So I don't know, somebody have typed in S. There's no option for S, dear. So please choose with an A, B, C, D. Maybe it's a typo error. It's okay. Okay. I can see you guys have gone with all the options. I can see couple of A, couple of B, couple of C, and couple of D. So though the question is very small, I think it's making you think more deeper, right? So let me take it from here. So let me explain the question and answer here. So the question is very small actually, right? So you are managing a high priority project with a regulatory deadline. Fine. A high priority project. Fine. A key deliverable from the cybersecurity team is 3 weeks late. Okay. After repeated discussions, the cybersecurity manager states they cannot commit to the work and that leadership must decide which project is more important. So story of every most of the organization, I can say. Yeah, your team is stalled, okay, and further delay will risk your compliance. Now your project is going to have compliance non-compliance risk, right? So if in case it is getting further delayed, then your project is in trouble. Fine. What should the project manager do next? A, okay, A says escalate the to the executive sponsor, okay, with a summary of impact, proposed mitigation options, and decision required to solve the resource priority. Okay, looks good to me. Fine. Look, why I'm saying escalation looks good to me right away. The reason is one, it's already delayed. Okay, number two, they are saying they cannot deliver it, and number three, okay, if in case it is going to be delayed further, your project is going to be non-compliant. Fine. So for escalation alone, okay, I always tell my students that for you to escalate, fine, so for you to escalate, you should look for certain keywords. Fine. So whenever a project, even if in case it says might also, okay. So if in case a project or any risk or any issue or anything, okay, is going to happen in the project and it is going to make the project failure, non-viable, non-compliant, okay, or else it is going to breach the threshold and tolerance limit of the project. Okay, in such cases, as a project manager, okay, I'm not authorized to handle the situation. It is beyond my authority. So whenever the question says, okay, the project is going to be failure, non-viable, non-compliant, or it is going to breach the threshold or, okay, tolerance limit, in that case, okay, it is beyond your authority, so you should escalate. Fine. And as the option says, PMI never says escalation means, okay, you're just shying away. Escalation means you're informing the higher authority, okay, and also you're giving some details, okay, how to proceed and all. Fine. So escalation is the first option. Even I can escalate and then, okay, tell them, look, I'm working on the solution, I'll provide you within some hours and all. But escalate first. That's what, PMI mindset is about. So A looks promising and good to me. But let's see, what if we have a better option, right? You never know. That's why PMI questions are very tricky. You never know. Okay, you might have a better option. Let's see. Send a formal, okay, complaint to the PMO requesting organizational disciplinary action against the cyber security manager. Look, I cannot blame the cyber security manager if in case there's a problem with the prioritization, right? Because he's getting requests from different projects. For you, this might be a high priority, but for him, he have his own list of tasks. For that reason, I cannot escalate to punish, okay, or take a disciplinary action against the manager. So we are not yet there. So not B. C, require the project team to adjust the schedule baseline to account for delays and continue working on remaining tasks without escalation. Now I always tell, okay, number one, you have to read the option and see whether it is giving a practical solution. Now when my project is going to be non-compliant, okay, there's no way that I can still, okay, manage to delay and continue. And also when something is beyond your authority, as I said, escalation should be the first step. So not C. D, reassign some project team members, okay, to assist the cybersecurity team temporarily to speed up progress and avoid escalation. Now it looks promising, right? So D option looks good to me. Collaborative approach is solution as well. But are you authorized to give your team members to a cybersecurity team to, helping hand? They never said, okay, give me helping hand to speed up things. No. Number two, your team members are not expertise of cybersecurity. That is the reason this requirement have gone to them, right? So putting your team members there is not going to help. And also I don't think, okay, any part of the question even hints that they have asked for help. And also you don't have any authority to send your people for cybersecurity works, right? So it's project team, they have to work within the project. Beyond that, okay, if any other ways of solution, or they are asking you helping hands and all, then yeah, we can think of that. Fine. So from A, B, C, D, based on the scenario, right, escalate is the best option here. So A is the correct choice. Fine. So let's go to the next question, okay, and I want you to answer with a reasoning next time. So let me pose the question number two. So this is the okay answer, and this is your explanation. So later when you're going to watch the video, even you can read this. So here we go with question number two. I have five options for you to select from. Okay, and let me just reduce. No, I don't want to reduce the size. So let me start the timer. Okay, and then I'll tell you when the timer is going to end, because you have to read all the five options. So here we go. I think it's a long read, so I will give you a couple of extra seconds for this. And don't get confused, only one option is correct. It's time up. Answers. I'll give you 10 more seconds though. Good to see. I can see two answers so far. So last 10 seconds, guys. Making you confused, it's only one option you have to select. So some two options, but yeah, you need to select any one. And I can see again, I'm getting a mixed response between B and C and E, right? Yeah, B, C, E. Okay, so can I see more? So people are confusing between B, C, E. Anybody wants to go with A and D? Okay, so let me explain the question. I have got enough answers, I think. This is a long read, right? So when you get a long question, a tough ones, okay, control yourself and don't spend too much of time. Okay, don't end up reading it multiple times. Okay, so a very short tip, okay, which actually was shared by my student only. Okay, so when you have such a long question, if you read the last line, is like here, as the project manager, what sure an objective and consistent qualitative risk prioritization. Now if you read the last line, right, now when you read the whole question, it will be easier for you to highlight your own keywords and all. Fine, because the last part shows, asks what is expected from you, right? So when you already know that what is expected from you from this question, then when you read the question, you can easily understand it better. Unless you read it and then you reach here, by the time you would have forgotten what was there, right? So this helps a lot. So one of my students only told that, and I have shared this with many other students, and they say, it's actually doing wonders for the long questions. Fine. Anyways, so you are leading a predictive infrastructure project with a large risk register developed during the planning. Okay. During a qualitative risk analysis workshop, the team identifies several high probability risks that have low schedule and cost impact, and a few low probability risks that could cause severe regulatory penalties if triggered. Fine. Some senior stakeholders insist that only high probability risks should be prioritized for mitigations to stay realistic, while others demand that all risk with possible regulatory implications be treated as top priority. Now, that is the situation you have. That is the problem statement, right? Now, as the project manager, okay, what should you do to ensure an objective and consistent qualitative risk prioritization? So when you read that line first, now while reading the question, you can see, okay, it makes much more sense and you can make out, okay, which direction you have to look. Let's read the answers. So A says prioritize only high probability risk for mitigation. Look, before I go into the topic, okay, let's just revise on predictive projects, how we handle risk. Number one, during the planning stage, you start identifying the risk, right? And once you identify them, what you do, you will document them in your risk register. Fine. And after that, you start putting some trigger points, okay? And also you'll start putting the qualitative analysis, which is mandatory, okay? And if required, if the project demands, then you'll do a quantitative analysis also. And then based on the priority set by the qualitative analysis, you'll take a decision which all risk, okay, what risk responses you should be going for, and then you'll plan for a risk response, and then you will monitor and maintain that throughout the project, right? So these what you do. And when I say qualitative risk analysis or assessment, how you do a qualitative risk analysis or assessment, okay, by defining the impact. Okay, number one, sorry, probability. What is the probability of the risk to occur, and what is the impact it is going to create in the project? And then you will use certain matrices. I don't have time to explain them. Okay, and then you figure out a risk score based on that. And based on the risk score, you prioritize the risk. So basically, the qualitative assessment of the risk is done to prioritize the risk, the purpose of it. Fine. Now, with this understanding, let's try to read the options now. So A says prioritize only high probability risk for mitigation since they are more likely to occur and could disrupt the project delivery. Now, qualitative risk analysis is not only prioritized based on probability alone, it's based on the probability and impact. So A is incorrect statement. B, so sorry, I should not select it. B, classify regulatory related risk as highest priority regardless of the probability to ensure the project is fully audit ready. Look, even though the risk is of from a what you say regulatory point of view, okay, still if in case the probability is 10% to occur, okay, it might have a low priority in that case. So anyways, you have to use the risk scores. Fine. So C also is not, sorry, B is also not correct. C. Apply agreed upon probability and impact scoring criteria to evaluate all risk. Look, how you evaluate risk? By applying the probability and impact score. Fine. And then include regulatory risk using a risk matrix and escalate extremely high threats for further analysis. If in case non-compliant and all, then maybe yes. Our major point here is apply agreed upon probability and impact scoring criteria to evaluate all the risk. That is what your qualitative analysis is about. Fine. So I would go with C. All the risk, okay, let it be regulatory or any risk. All the risk, when you're going to do a qualitative risk analysis to prioritize the risk, you will use probability and impact. Fine. Now D, convert the qualitative analysis into quantitative Monte Carlo modeling immediately because qualitative techniques are insufficient when stakeholders disagree. Never the case, right? Look, when you go for a quantitative risk analysis, okay, when the project is very sensitive and it needs to be analyzed, okay, much deeper level, because the project is very important for the customer or the organization. So based on the demand, okay, from the customer or the organization's higher management, if they say we have to do a quantitative analysis, we do that. So qualitative analysis is to prioritize the risk, quantitative is to quantify it with numbers, okay, how exactly it is going to impact the projects in numbers and projections and all, and then it gives a detailed report. That's what a quantitative risk analysis is. Fine. So it is done when, okay, the stakeholder or the customer or the higher management wants, okay, to perform the detailed analysis further than prioritization. That is when it is done. It's not just because they disagree. So D is completely incorrect. E ask stakeholders to vote on which risk matters the most, prioritization based on. Look, you can never prioritize your risk based on the voting system. Never. If in case there is a disagreement between one of the points and all, yes, I can still trigger a voting system, but not for prioritization. So as the question says, okay, what should you do to ensure an objective and consistent qualitative risk analysis? Qualitative risk analysis done as per point C. So no other okay things looks better. C is the best choice. So here is the explanation. Okay, so not wasting much more time, let's proceed with the next question, which is number 3. I hope it is readable. The size is good. So let me start. I think it's a small question. By now, I should have seen some answers. Time up. Think which is logically better. Okay, all looks good, to very frank. All looks good. Okay, think logically which is better. Okay, so I can see the fight is between B and C, right? So many of you are going with B as in Bravo, and many of you are going with C as in Charlie. Fine. Okay, so let me read the question. I think this was a small one. So you are managing a predictive construction project with a strict commissioning deadline. Okay, a significant threat is identified. A specialized HVAC component from a sole overseas supplier. Look, I don't know what HVAC is. Anybody from construction industry, if you know, please put that in the chat. I would like to know. Fine. Has a long lead time. What is lead time? They're taking too much time on delivery. Okay, from this when you started. When you initiated the need, okay, requirement, and from there, okay, the delivery time, so that's the total lead time, okay, which is being delayed. Fine, so it's too long it seems, and a history of late delivery. So their lead time is long, and also they have a history of late delivery, means your previous project experiences. If delayed, interior work will stop and the project may incur major liquidated damages. The procurement manager suggests frequent follow-ups, okay, with the vendor. Okay, now procurement manager is saying have a frequent follow-up. Okay, while the sponsor believes the supply will deliver on time, okay, and the client, okay, asks for full assurance that delays will not affect the schedule. Fine. So what should the project manager do now? He is in between, okay, the situation. Now, can I see someone have put the full form of what I have asked? Okay, heating, ventilation and air conditioning. Okay, nice. Now only I came to know that. Now, why I asked that? Okay, for you to answer the PMP questions, you don't have to be expertise in that particular industry or area. PMI is not testing your industry specific skills. Fine. So if in case you come across such jargons, you don't have to worry about it. Fine. So you don't have to know construction industry to answer this question. So PMP questions are in generic for project management. So never ever, okay, put your thought process to the particular industry. Fine. For us, what is the situation? Okay, there is a vendor, okay, where the lead time is too long, and also they have a history of late delivery. Now, definitely there is a risk of, okay, of getting things delayed. Okay, so the risk is identified here, right? So it will get delayed, and also if in case it gets delayed, the project may incur a major liquidated damages. That's what it says. Fine. So now let's try to read the options. And as I said, all the options would, okay, look good here, but let's see which is the best one. Fine. A says accept the risk because the supplier has promised timely delivery, okay, and increase shipment tracking as a precaution. Look, accepting the risk is not good in this case, because the risk, okay, is going to impact the schedule, and also it is going to incur some financial damages. So in that case, okay, I will never go for, okay, acceptance. Look, when you accept a risk, number one, when the risk is low priority, okay, when the risk is low priority, so all the low priority risk we would prefer to accept. And how? By adding a contingency to it. Fine. So that's how you accept a risk. Now, A is completely incorrect. Here, you're not even adding a contingency. You're saying you'll follow up. Fine. So, following up is coming under your mitigation, not your acceptance. Fine. Accept means, okay, you're anticipating and calculating the delay, and you're adding a contingency to cover up the delay. That is what acceptance is. Number two, if in case, okay, a risk is of medium or high priority also, and you don't have any control over it. Okay, if you don't have any control over the risk, then only you'll decide to accept. Okay, low priorities risk are first reason for accepting, or else when you don't have any, you cannot do anything about it, then yeah, I can accept by adding a contingency. So A is completely incorrect. B, mitigate the risk by requesting the supplier to provide weekly progress reports and contractual penalties for late delivery. Look, it looks good to me, I'll keep it with me. Okay, so you're saying, okay, let's mitigate the risk, okay, requesting the supplier to provide weekly progress report and contractual penalties for late delivery. So that's how you're trying to mitigate the risk. Fine. So what does mitigation means? Mitigation means you're trying to reduce the impact of probability, right? So here you're trying to reduce the impact on probability, and that's the reason it is a mitigate. It looks good to me. But let's see if we have a better answer. C, transfer the risk by negotiating a performance based contract clause, okay, that holds the supplier financially responsible for schedule delays. Look, if I compare B and C, okay, C looks better. B, you are able to mitigate, reduce. C, I'm able to transfer the risk. Okay, what is better for me, to mitigate it or to transfer it? Because it is already, okay, from a vendor, and he is going to delay it. And if I mitigate, I'm going to just reduce the impact. But anyway, the vendor is involved. Why not to transfer the complete risk to the vendor? So any delays, he will be held responsible for the financial losses, right? So in that case, okay, he is automatically motivated to deliver you on timely. So here, when I have an option to transfer the risk completely to that vendor, I would prefer to transfer rather to mitigate, right? So for that reason, I feel when I compare B and C, C looks better option for me. I won't say B is the incorrect option, but when I see B and C, C looks better to me. D, avoid the risk by redesigning, okay, the HVAC configuration to eliminate dependencies on the specialized component. Look, D, to avoid, you don't have to redesign HVAC configuration to eliminate dependency and all. No, that is not a practical solution for me. Right here, only the thing is the vendor is going to delay things. Okay, there are chances of him getting delayed, and then it is going to impact my financial problem. So that is the risk identified. There's nothing, okay, where you have a problem with the configuration, or you have to redesign things and all. So D doesn't look actually correct to me, so I will stick with C. Fine, so C is the best choice. And the people who have selected B, look, I would say it was very close call. Okay, so when I have an option, because already a vendor is involved, and if I can transfer it completely to the vendor, definitely that is much better than trying to mitigate the probability or impact, right? So just that's why I said, okay, you have to think logically. So C is the better choice, and here are more reasons for that. Fine. Now, Before I proceed, can I have some chats? Okay, message is shows telling that how is today's session? Okay, are you able to get more knowledge? Okay, are you able to get some better understanding? And are you feeling the questions are of good quality? Never. Look, transfer is one of the risk strategy. Somebody have asked, okay, whether it is running away. Never. Transfer is one of the risk strategy. When PMI, okay, concepts when it comes to risk responses, okay, number one, you can escalate a risk. Whenever a risk is beyond your authority, you have to escalate. Fine. So there also it is not shying away. B, okay. So one is escalate, then you can accept the risk. So all the low priority risk, all the risks which I don't have any control, okay, to mitigate or avoid and all, I can go for accept. Then I can mitigate or avoid a risk. Mitigate means I'm able to reduce the impact. Fine. Avoiders, I can completely eliminate the risk completely. Okay, so let's say if I'm going to, okay, getting into a traffic is one of the risk. Okay, and if I can take a class online, okay, let's say I have an option to go in a traffic and take a class or take it from online. Let's say your PMP exam, right? So if I have a huge risk, okay, of getting into a traffic because I live in such city, then taking the exam from home becomes a avoid. So it's eliminating the risk of getting into traffic, right? And transfer is you're transferring to a third party, so it is never shying away. Fine. So if in case, okay, you have an option to transfer the risk, okay, in this question already the vendor is involved, so you don't have to look for a different vendor and all. Already a vendor is involved, and you can easily transfer the risk to them by adding a clause in the contract. So mitigation will allow you to reduce, but here you're completely transferring to them. Fine. So for that reason, look, C looks better. Fine. So B is a good option, but comparing better. Fine. So I hope, yeah. Okay, I can see many of you are enjoying the classes and you feel that it is informative. Thanks for that. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So let me start the timer. It's a little long read, so let me adjust it. Sorry for that. I hope now it is good. Please proceed. Look, somebody have said a comment on the last question. I will explain after this. Okay, your time is up. Can I start seeing some options? Okay, now I'm sure, okay, today's session's questions were of very good quality because every question I'm getting mixed responses. Fine. So here also I'm getting mixed response between um, B and C, right? So people are confusing between B and C. Yeah, B and C is a confusion. Okay, before I go to this, okay, okay, let me give you 5 or 10 more seconds. Okay, someone may have come with A as well. Okay, so A, B, C. Now D also have come, so you have selected all the four options. Okay, but yeah, more number of people have gone with B and C. Thank you, Muhammad, for the comment. Okay, before that, somebody have asked, okay, the procurement manager also asked to follow up. Then why not you go with it? Look, when it comes to procurement procedures, okay, that case, procurement manager is a expert in that area. So if in case I want an expert judgment, yes, I will listen to them. Fine. But here, okay, as a project manager, I am the captain of the ship. Okay, when it comes to a risk response, right? So when it comes to risk response as a project manager, I should be taking the decision which is best for the project. Fine. So procurement will be thinking from their own prospect. And if in case I need something specific in understanding, okay, on procurement procedures and all where I don't have the expertise, yes, I can go with them. Okay, I can ask their suggestion. Even then, expert judgment is okay, taking inputs, understanding, okay, from them, and then as a project manager, you're going to take the decision. So here, okay, following up was a generic okay message given by the procurement. Because of that, okay, I cannot decide follow up is a better. Fine. So here, that's the reason we went for transfer. Look, mitigate means like, if in case the impact is going to create okay 10K US dollars, mitigate is decreasing the probability to it happen, number one. Second, decreasing it to maybe 5K and all. You're going to penalize them with 5K maybe. Now, transfer means I'm completely transferring. If in case you're going to delay and 10K happens, you have to pay 10K. That's what the clause means. Now you think which is better, me mitigating it to certain level or transferring the risk completely to that vendor who's already working with me. So when I transfer the risk, right, this time he will make sure 100% he's going to deliver on time, else he have to make the payment of 10K, the penalty fee, right? So other case, okay, even though I'm saying you will be penalized, the penalty fee will be less there. Fine. And you're doing some follow-ups, so all is mitigating, you're reducing it. But when I have an option to transfer, in this case, okay, definitely it is better. Now there will be some scenario based questions, okay, where mitigate might be better than transfer. So don't take transfer is always better than mitigate. In this situation, it was better. Fine. Okay, now let's go to question number 4 explanation. I have already got many of ABCDs. Okay, let's go with it. Now, an agile team developing an analytics platform, okay, repeatedly encounters the same risk each sprint. Okay, so it's a repetitive risk. Delays from a third party vendor, okay, defect spikes after deployment, and late business feedback. Fine. Now, although these issues are discussed during retrospectives, no owner or action plan is defined, and the risk continues to impact the predictable delivery. Now, why it is predictable delivery? Because you have defined a sprint scope, right? Creating a sprint backlog. Now that is predictable because my team will be committed to complete that. So don't get confused why it is predictable delivery. It's only for that particular sprint they are saying. Now, the product owner prefers to address the risk when they happen, while the scrum master is pushing for a more disciplined approach. Because why? Scrum master is the owner of process, right? So for that reason, scrum master wants a better approach. Which action should the scrum master suggest to improve risk handling? So what can be a better suggestion from a scrum master? A says suggest pausing a new feature development temporarily so the entire team can focus exclusively on resolving the. Look, scrum master doesn't have any authority to decide on the priority. Fine. So A is completely incorrect. Number one. B suggests that the team log. Okay, suggest that the team logs recurring risk, okay, and convert the mitigation actions into backlog item with clear ownership and acceptance criteria and priority. B looks absolutely right, and I'll tell you why. More details. Give me 2 minutes. Suggest treating the recurring risk as a technical debt and scheduling. Who have selected C? Nowhere. Okay, it looks a technical problem, right? So look, when you're answering the questions, please don't assume, please don't read between the lines. Whatever information is given in the question, that's what you have to take. Okay, so never ever in the question have they have said it's a technical depth and all, right? So completely incorrect. See, D suggest creating a separate detailed risk register and conducting qualitative scoring each sprint, tracking the reporting risk independently from the product backlog. This is not the way you handle risk in agile environment, right? So this is completely wrong. So B stands better. Now let me tell you why B is better than D, okay, and also better than C. So look, how risk is handled in agile projects. Let me tell you that. Fine. So risk are handled in agile projects in a very simple fashion, okay, in an organic way. Number one, the team identifies the risks, okay, throughout all the ceremonies. So your sprint planning, the daily stand-ups, your demo sessions and retrospectives. Organically, team, okay, identifies the risk there. Now, how they do that? You have to sit in my class because I'll be explaining that in 10 to 15 minutes. So let me cut short it. They identify the risk in the organically on day-to-day basis. And then once they identify the risk, right, they have to come up with the action item. And then the action items, whatever work they have to do, it will be added in the product backlog and prioritized. Fine. So it has to be added in the product backlog and then prioritized, and it will be taken up by the team to work. So any work which has to be done in the project, even the risk mitigation, okay, any work that has to be done in the project, the team have to pick up only from product backlog. They cannot work on anything other than product backlog, right? So even a mitigation action, if in case they have to work, okay, in that case they have to pick from the product backlog. So risk, okay, whatever action items are identified to mitigate or avoid any, or any response to the risk, you have to add in the in the product backlog. It get prioritized and then it is handled. So product backlog refinement and grooming is one of the ways to handle your risk. Fine. So not by doing a qualitative analysis and then prioritizing it separately from product backlog and then taking it to work is not a correct option. The risk responses, okay, whatever action items you have to mitigate or avoid or whatever to do with the risk, you have to add in the product backlog. Fine. So that is the way you have to do. So that's how agile team handles risk. So let's go to the last question. Okay, I'm so satisfied today. Okay, I feel even reading the question, I feel, yeah, it's of really good quality. Okay, so let's go to the next question, the last one for the day. So this is the explanation. I have it here. Let's go to the last one. And the question looks long. Sorry for that. So let me reduce the size. Yeah, but options are very small. Here we go. Two, 1, 0. Time is up. Let me give you 10 more seconds. It was a long read, I feel. But I don't think it's a tough one. I hope everyone should get a correct answer in this one. Let's see. So Noor have commented that when you read the question, it gets much more clear. Yes. Look, you have to read the question like, as you're reading a story. Fine. So when you read a storybook, you completely understand that, right? So read it like a story. I'm telling you, you will understand each and every word and line in it. Okay, somebody have commented the question said predictive. No, it said agile. That's why it was talking about sprint and all, right? So it was an agile question. Fine. So can I see some answers for this one? Okay, okay, okay. As I said, everybody are going with one answer. I hope that's the one person have gone with B. Remaining all okay. Couple of C as well, but most of you have gone with A, I believe. Okay, so let me read the question now. A project manager is estimating the duration of a complex data migration activity that must be completed before user acceptance testing begins. The technical lead explains that the actual effort depends heavily on the quality of the legacy data and the number of ex- uh, exceptions, okay, encountered during the transformation. Fine. So there are some uncertainties that's what you have to understand. After reviewing similar past project and consulting subject matter experts, okay, the team proposes the following estimate. Now the team says, okay, if the data is inconsistent and okay are minimum, if the data inconsistencies are minimum, which is the best scenario, which is optimistic, 12 days, it will take 12 days for them to complete. Now if in case it's very normal, which is most likely, okay, practical one, 20 days, and the worst case scenario, right, the pessimistic, that is 32 days. So if you see the best case, most likely, worst case, it is directly pointing to your 3 point estimation. First part of the question shows there is an uncertainty. Based on that, your team have given estimates. So definitely it's 3 point, right? So the sponsor is pressuring the team to commit. Now, here is the catch. The sponsor is pressuring the team to commit to a shorter timeline due to a fixed go live date. Fine. What should the project manager do next? So A says use the 3 point estimation formula to calculate the expected duration and communicate a data driven estimate rather than committing to the aggressive date. Definitely, if you follow the process, when there is an uncertainty, there is okay such estimations done. 3 point is the best way to move forward. B says select the optimistic estimate of 12 days since the team has past experience and can accelerate the work. Never the case, never the case, okay? So it never ever said the team can handle such things and all. And 12 will be very aggressive when the practical days are estimated for 20. So never I can go with 12. Average the optimistic and pessimistic estimation, okay? To simplify the estimate, there is no such formula, okay, in 3 point where you just add and take the average of optimistic and pessimistic. No, that's not the correct way to do it. D, apply schedule compression techniques such as fast tracking to reduce the duration first and then perform the estimate if compression is not sufficient. Look here, there's never said like the project is extended or you have to compress the project. That's not the case here, right? The case is there is an uncertainty. Now the team is estimating and they have estimated the best case, most likely, and worst case. So definitely we have to use the 3 point estimation. So most of you have gone with that, okay? And here is the 3 point estimation with the formula, okay, how to do it. So a is the correct choice. Fine. I hope again the session was informative. Okay, if in case you feel the session was good, I would really request you guys to hit on the like, okay, and subscribe our channel. Fine. And I would like to know how much was your scores for today. What was your score? Each one of you, if you can put that here, it would be great for me to know. Fine. And also, I have learned one new jargon today with from my friends from construction industry, right? So thanks for that. And as I said, when you are answering the question answers, okay, you don't have to focus on the jargons or the industry specific. It's all about project management. Keep it very simple. Okay, read the question from project management's aspect and answer it with the best PMI mindset. That is the best way to tackle the questions. And thanks a lot for attending the session. Okay, I can see. Okay, look, the people who have scored 3, I would say it's a good score for today. As I said, the question was of very good quality. So 4 and 5, you guys have done excellent. Okay, the people who are on 2, okay, 2 and 3, to very frank, yeah, you have to work a little more. You have to practice more. Fine. So 3 is still good. Okay, but yeah, if you can practice more, if you're 4, it would have been better. Fine. So no problem. So thank you guys. So let's meet next to next Friday. Okay, so I would definitely try, okay, and conduct the session on the, not the next Friday, after that. Okay, I don't know the exact date. So I think it will come on 28th. So let me try to conduct the session on 28th of November for sure. Fine. And let me bring much better quality questions. And today I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, thanks a lot for staying back. And please, okay, hit a like button if you liked the session. So thanks a lot. And also do share the link with everyone. Okay, these sessions are recorded, and the same link, it can be watched anytime after I ended. So please do share with your friends who are preparing for PMP. Fine. So thanks a lot, and you guys have a good day. And if in case it's the other times, yeah, you have a good time from now. Thanks a lot, and thank you. Many of you have liked the session. I can see a very positive responses here, and thanks.